For the second year in a row now, a bill aimed at closing what some call a serious gap in Utah's child welfare system has failed at the state capitol.
Senate Bill 124, known as Gavin's bill, would have allowed police and DCFS caseworkers to get an investigative warrant to check on a child's safety when credible evidence-based concerns existed and attempts to see the child have failed.
2 News investigates. Ariel Harrison breaks down why it failed and why some top House members voted it down.
After passing out of the Senate, the Child Welfare Modifications Bill failed in its last major hurdle when 43 House Republicans voted it down to 30 representatives that said yes. Among the nay votes, Speaker of the House Mike Schultz.
That was not the solution. That bill wouldn't have helped Gavin or helped the Peterson kid. DCFS failed their job, period.
A critic of what some say is a solution following horrific child abuse cases in Utah, Schultz pointed to findings from a 2026 legislative audit of DCFS, which was called for following the death of 12-year-old Gavin Peterson in July of 2024.
Look at the audit. The audit has a lot of great solutions in there. If you haven't seen the audit, very critical of the department.
That audit found numerous issues within the agency.
This is a concern when we're talking about giving even more power in this space to the same agency that is struggling right now.
The bill sponsors say SB 124 addresses some of the mounting concerns and could have made a difference in recent cases.
This is not just a loophole. This is a failure of the state of Utah.
Both Senator Luz Escamilla and Representative Christine Watkins felt the bipartisan bill struck the right balance when it comes to parental rights and oversight if kids disappear.
We failed Gavin for one entire year. No one saw him. We can only imagine what he endured in isolation. This is not hypothetical because we have heard of this gap before.
Escamilla is referencing the Ruby Franke child abuse case, where she and Jody Hildebrandt were convicted of torturing 2 of Ruby's young kids. Their father, Kevin, testified many times about what he calls a gaping gap in our system. Countless reports were made about his kids to the state, but door knocks went unanswered. And he says right now, there are 2 extremes.
On one end of the spectrum, we have the laws allow, say, DCFS to make phone calls or to go knock on a door. The parents have no obligation to answer the phone or answer the door. And if they don't, and if there's zero cooperation, the case is closed. On the other end of the spectrum, we have laws that state, okay, now we have irrefutable evidence. And now those warrants allow the doors to be busted down and the individuals to be arrested, taken into custody, and then eventually prosecuted for felony child abuse.
Franke says SB 124 is the missing middle ground we need. In Gavin Peterson's case, his father and stepmom pulled him from school following repeated reports from teachers and staff to DCFS.
There were concerns. There were red flags, and yet for a year, for that last year of his life, DCFS was unable to get eyes on him.
Gavin's dad, stepmom, and older brother were convicted and sentenced to prison for their roles in his death.
Is this bill a commitment to do better for Utah's children?
Absolutely. If we don't do this as legislators, it worries me that we're missing how critical it is that protecting the most vulnerable of our communities is not being met. We shed a lot of tears in this case. Myself and others, community, media, because it was so heartbreaking. Let's not repeat history.
Ariel Harrison, KUTV 2 News.